And the last. Well, hello there, or moin, as we say here in Hamburg. Welcome to Stitch-Ilonka. My name is Ilonka. Yes, it's spelled with an I, but pronounced with an E. And you are here on my cross-stitch channel, where I talk about my wonderful cross-stitch journey that began last year in summer. And I also throw in one or the other interesting, more or less interesting story along the way. Welcome to my new viewers and welcome to my returning viewers. I'm so happy that you are here with me. And as you can already tell, I got it. Yes, I got it. Which is kind of a bummer. And that's also why I am late this week, because, you know, everything, like my whole schedule, my whole timeline just got scrambled. And I'm feeling quite well, thank you. It's not really, it hasn't been that bad for me, luckily, because I still have my my tonsils, and they flare up every now and then, and I already know that feeling. And I am not really getting that sick anymore from like colds or stuff. I usually just get inflamed tonsils, and because yeah, they are kind of the defense mechanisms of the body, and my mom refused to have them removed when I was a child, and that's why I usually get inflamed tonsils rather than a full-blown cold or infection or whatever. So yeah, that's rather been like that, and I just only remain with a bit of a stuffy nose and a bit of a raspy voice. And I thought I'm feeling well enough to sit in front of the camera, and I have, you know, pulled out all the stops on my makeup department so that I look rather presentable today. First of all, let me say thank you for all the kind comments and messages that I've received after last time's Flosstube. I'm really blessed to be a part of this community, and so many people have opened up about their current state of mental health, let's put it that way. And it's not just if we are suffering ourselves, but also if we are the person who is living with or caring for a person who is suffering right now from whatever it might be. And it's really good that we can also, you know, talk about this. It doesn't have to be in detail. I don't have to really know why you are sad or why you are suffering from this and that to have an empathetic feeling towards you and just send you a virtual hug, and to also receive a virtual hug just like that. Sometimes it's really just, you don't have to know everything in every detail about a story, a personal story, but you can still be empathetic and nice to one another. And that's something that I feel in this community, in that I feel really seen and heard and appreciated. And yeah, I just like it here in this crazy community. And if you are suffering, let me give you a virtual hug. And if you like to send another one my way, they are always appreciated. Okay, now what awaits you in this episode? I have been stitching a lot. I have a few FFOs, not FFOs, but FOs, and I have started a few things. I've worked on some whips. I have no haul because I'm still waiting on my Nashville order, but in the end I will talk about my plans for May. And I also opt out of saying Mania. Megan the Stitching Moon made a wonderful video about that, explaining why she doesn't call it that way, and I found it quite, you know, obvious that, and I never thought about it that way, because the word mania might probably be triggering for some people, and so I'm not calling it that way, and I just thought that was a nice thing. So my May plans, and I have come across a challenge where you can win $50 gift certificate, a $50 gift certificate for Colorado Cross Stitch, and I'm going to talk about more about that at the end. As I said, my schedule is all over the place. My life is still not getting any easier, but hey, that's life. I had some wonderful days at my brother's over Easter, and he lives in a where a lot of the vineyards here in Germany are, and so we went for lovely walks, and I'm going to insert some pictures here because I came across one peculiar thing, that there are wine vending machines right somewhere in between all the vineyards. So if you're going on a picnic and wanting to sit somewhere, you can just, pop in some coins and get a bottle of wine, a bottle of sparkling water, and some grape juice if you want, and then just go for a walk and sit down somewhere. And one vineyard also had this huge giant swing, and we managed to take a family picture there, and that was just a lovely time, wonderful weather, and a bit of time for me to switch off from certain things. That was really nice. And I actually planned on I'm going to talk about that later. I planned on stitching some things, but I ended up stitching some other things. Anyway, so as I said, I don't know if I caught it when I was on the train from that voyage, from that vacation, or if I caught it when I was out in my favorite bar. And I talked to a friend who I haven't seen in ages, and I talked to him about this segment that I have, which is
hello, hola, guten Tag, ni hao, konnichiwa, bonjour, buenos salve, brevid, sprich aus aller Welt, sayings from around the world. Hello, hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, bonjour, buenos salve.
I still love it. So I talked to him about that, and he came up with this, well, let me put it that way. In Germany, we have the most outrageous sayings, and they sound so stupid if you translate them word by word into English. For people who know English, and who understand the flow and the grammar and everything of the English language, if you translate something very literally into English, it sounds really, really silly. And so he just threw some of those stupid translations at my head, and I was like, okay, I need to write that down, and I have to talk about it this week. And so here it is. If you're in a situation and it's not bad, but it's not really that good, or if you taste something and it's not really, well, it's not horrible, but it's not really that good, we would just say, well, this is not really the yellow from the egg. And yeah, so we would not say, well, that is the yellow from the egg, as a praising term, but we would. It's always used in this kind of negated form, like in the opposite form, like in well, it's not the yellow from the egg, right? And I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's not that funny to you, but to German people it is. So what would you say to that? It's not like the cream of the crop, that's something else, but if it's not the cream of the crop, or yeah. And the other one was, if you speak to someone, and like to a car mechanic, for example, and you are not really adept at technical terms, and he's just throwing these sentences and words and technical terms at you, and you would look at him and say, I understand only railway station. So if you really don't understand anything, then it's just, I only understand railway station. Yeah. German language is really funny. We had a good laugh at that evening. especially because he works at a railway station. I had a wonderful saying last week, which was don't cast pearls before swine. And many of you wonderful people commented that this is actually a phrase from the Bible, or a passage from the Bible. And as I researched it, it's Matthew 7. And when I researched it, I realized that this is a whole chapter about not judging people, or to first judge yourself before you judge others. And there are many, many phrases and sayings in this chapter that we still use today. And I'm not doing a Bible reading here or anything, but I found it really interesting, and maybe you want to look it up yourselves, because there are some phrases in there that we still use today, even if, I mean, I never knew that they were from the Bible. And I suppose many of those people who still use these kind of terms are not aware that they are from the Bible too. And I really find it fascinating every time I come across something like this, that to realize that the impact that this religion has on our day-to-day life still is really, really interesting. And I suppose that it's the same way with other cultures as well, through their interpretation of the Bible, or through their faith and through their beliefs. And that's why I am so interested in hearing from you people, how you would translate some of those phrases, or if you have phrases yourself that you would want me to ask people to translate them into their language. So please, if you have something like that, let me know in the comments below. Oh yeah, I have one, because Stephanie from Soap Glover Creations, she does a wonderful thing that I do as well sometimes, is like she's watching a YouTube video, like a Flosstube, and then she starts typing a comment responding exactly to the sentiment that was just said. But she doesn't hit enter and send it off, but she waits until the end of the video, because then she can answer each, you know, kind of topic or notion or a question, whatever came up in that video, and then she would just hit enter at the end. So it was kind of a long paragraph that she sent me, and she was like, well, there's this saying in English, a penny for your thoughts. And I told her, well, or if we have this expression in Germany as well, and I told her, yes, but in Germany it is a whole kingdom for your thoughts. So in Germany, thoughts are much more expensive, because Germany calls itself the land of thinkers and poets. And that's a true thing. No, it's the other way around. Land of poets and thinkers. Because you might know most of those, most of the philosophers, these huge philosophers, are from Germany, like Nietzsche and Kant and Wittgenstein, and those poets like Goethe and Schiller and Einstein. Well, he was not a thinker. Well, he was a thinker, but he was a physician. Well, anyway. Yeah, so it's not just a penny for your thoughts, it's a whole kingdom for your thoughts here in Germany. I'm looking forward to hearing your phrases down in the comments below, or if this just wasn't really the yellow from the egg. Okay, now let's get to some stitching. I finished my therapy squid, and I need something to back it up. Sorry. I finished my therapy squid, and I love him. Have you hugged your therapy squid today? This is stitched on 14 count blue Ada with the called for DMCs, and the pattern is by Pixel Pixie Cross Stitch on Etsy. I have the link down below, and I won this in an Instagram giveaway that she did for her milestone of subscribers. And the wonderful thing about this one is now that it's finished, I wanted to finish it into a pillow so that I could have a pouch for a hot water bottle, or in summer for a cooling pad. And now that it was finished, I showed it to my boyfriend, and of course he one-upped me again, and he said, well, if you want to have a hot water bottle in it, then you should have not just like a square pillow, but you should make some kind of a pillow that has arms, you know, like a squid. that you can kind of, you know, wrap around your neck maybe so that you have your back warm, or that you can wrap around your torso or whatever. And I was like, oh. Now if I just finish it into a pillow, then it's just boring. Well, I told my friends when I was at a stitching Zoom the other day, I told them about this idea, and Christy from Chrissy's Corner Needle Craft just send me a sewing pattern on Etsy for a squid pillow, and now I just have to figure out how big I have to make the squid pillow so that this fits on here and that a hot water bottle gets in there, and how I would do the tentacles. And it's going to be a fun sewing project. And then I had another start and finish that I have to tell you about. I have I love lighthouses, you might know that. And I have a wonderful German viewer who is also a designer for cross stitch patterns. And I haven't told you about about her because she only sells in German online stores. She's not on Etsy. And she designs a lot of lighthouses, and I actually want to stitch a lot of her lighthouses on a towel, maybe one day. And when I featured her in one of my German videos, I told her, well, I like the island of Föhr here in the Northern Sea, and the lighthouse on Föhr is my favorite one. And so she made a stitch pattern for me for this lighthouse. And it was a quick start and finish over Easter when I was with my family, because we are looking forward to spending 1 week on Föhr this year again in summer. And I just love it. The bricks are gorgeous. The backstitching for the, oh, I can show you something. I already watercolored this one. This was my first hobby when I started, when the pandemic started. So I already drew this one, and I have even more. The other ones are in the office. That was my first motif that I've been drawing, and like, it's watercolor, you know. Yeah, it's been coloring. And now I have one in a stitched form, and I obviously also have many photos, like pictures taken of them. And now I just have to see if I have an idea of how to frame like a picture, the watercolor, and the stitching of this same lighthouse in some cool way so that I can hang it up on the wall. Maybe you've got some ideas for that. But yeah, that was my quick lighthouse finish with anchor threads on 16 count cream Aida. And another start and finish is this one. This is a typical Vierländer medallion that you would find on Dutch samplers or on German samplers. And I told you last time that I went to a kind of a stitching get-together, and that, well, I bought a book about the whole Vierländer tradition, stitching tradition. And in the back of this book, there were some patterns that they said, please duplicate them, copy them, share them, and let people know how wonderful this hobby of stitching is. And I haven't done that yet because I don't know if it's really meant to be in, you know, in a huge scale of having my 800 subscribers being able to stitch this. But I will double check with the people who made this book, and I will let you know next time. But anyway, what I wanted to say is I loved this pattern. It spoke to me so much. And I have a box of random single skein threads that I bought when I was just trying out fancy flosses, when I was first getting into these hand-dyed, over-dyed flosses. And I have them sitting around, and I don't really have a project with them. And I have a bunch of wonderful hand-dyed fabrics from my dear friend Esther, the Danish stitcher. And so one day I just, you know, picked out this piece of fabric, which is a hand-dyed 25 count even weave, and I suppose it shrunk and it's a bit more of a 32 count now. I stitched it with 2 strands, and it's really no good to show you this like this because this is Amethyst by The Gentle Art. And you have to, it's really, I tried in sunlight, I tried with artificial light, I tried whatever, but this variegates from a rusty lilac to a rusty brownish. Yeah, but it's kind of purple lilac to brown. And it's still another one of these 50-year-old frames that I still have lying around, but I suppose that this was the last one, right? Yeah, that was the last one. And I love it just so much. It's yeah, I couldn't finish the floral additions here on the sides because I ran out of thread, but I'm happy that I had it just like that. And it's a tiny little piece and a dainty little piece, and I'm so in love with these open, wonderful, kind of more spacious, not full coverage things. When I started the Modern Folk Embroidery cell, that I am really drawn to these kind of patterns and I want to stitch them more. So you might be seeing those in the future even more. Okay, on to whips. I haven't been working on many whips this week because I have been starting a lot and starting and finishing a lot, and so this is going to be a quick one. I worked a bit on spring. I only added this part here and a few of those. There's a flower basket, a flower vase that's gonna grow here. And yeah, actually I should try and finish this month of May, because obviously this is spring and the end of May, spring is over, and then I would have to start with summer. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, still love it. Wonderful thing to stitch on. This is the called for over-dyed flosses on a 32 count linen in the colorway Platinum. I also stitched a bit on Untitled Chapters, the Modern Folk Embroidery 2022 cell. I only added this peacock. Yeah, this peacock here, and I still have to play catch up with this one, and you're going to see this one again in my May plans. This is stitched on a 32 count Murano, even weave with kind of a whitish, with Aubert Soie red and some gold Aubert Soie silk yarn. And the third one that I worked on, not much, is this one by Happy Sloth Patterns, fully functional. I finished the functional, and I moved the hoop a bit to, you know, to go on working. I actually did this, or I wanted to finish this by next week, because we are in the finale of the Picard season 2 on Amazon Prime, and I have to say, this week's episode, I don't know what they did, but I feel like they gave the intern like a handbook of sci-fi tropes and drama beats, and they just let them have their way with it. It was kind of a strange, the pacing was off, everything was, I mean, I liked the second season a lot when it started, the whole premise of it, like time travel and going back to nowadays and try to fix whatever, you know, some kind of Marty McFly, Back to the Future, timey-wimey things. But this week's episode was just, I mean, they still have one episode to persuade me that it's going to be, that this was a good season, and that I have to look forward, or that I am looking forward to season 3. But man, they have to kind of come up with some good things. But yeah, this is fully functional Happy Sloth Patterns. stitched on 16 count Black Ada with DMC floss. And the last start I had was the Colors of Fire by Werkstatt für historische Stickmuster, and it looks like this. And I started this on my Stitch Zoom the other day, and I have to say I'm so very happy with it. I am not sure if I have to try and take another picture of the colors, because in this on my phone it looks rather dark. It's a wonderful, wonderful dark lilac, not lilac, but a dark fuchsia, a reddish fuchsia, burgundy, I don't know, a wonderful color, and yellow, and of course gold. And this is stitched on a 35 count linen. Yeah, 35 count Edinburgh linen from SWYWWYW in white, just in plain white. And I have to say I have to get used to this, because this linen is very soft and the threads move so easily. You cannot pull too tight, but also you cannot pull, like, you cannot have it hanging around too loose, or otherwise the stitches would look crooked and stuff. Crooked, not cricket. Crooked. And so I still have to kind of, you know, learn and practice with this one, but I am happy that I already got the start of it, and that I'm working on it, and that I might be able to finish it before next Christmas, so that my father can give me the second one of the series. There are many series of it. Please, yeah, I'm gonna link sorry, I bumped the table. I'm gonna link this shop below. Please check it out, because they also have the most wonderful bluish hues and turquoisey greenish hues in this kind of way. And they just released the Colors of Spring for this year, with some, also with these tiles and with some flowers coming up here. And if you don't follow them on Instagram, please do. I love these women. They are, and all the designs, really great company. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot one. This is a really odd one. I talked about this biscornu for ages, it feels like. I have shown you this 1,000 times, this garden biscornu with the watering can on it. I've shown you 1,000 times, and I told you 1,000 times that I wanted to have this finished for my friend's birthday, which was yesterday. Yeah, so I started stitching on, and Mel, the Patchy Pony Stitcher from New Zealand, Tasmania, she told me the last 2 times that I showed it on my Flosstube, she was like, oh yeah, tell me when you start, because we can do it as a stitch along. I have the same one. Sorry, Mel. I just started on Monday, and I was like, oh my god, it's on Friday, it's her birthday, and I have to whip it out. And so I just started stitching on it, and I ran out of this color for the watering cans. I just, you know, I thought I had enough because I'm stitching it up, but I ran out because I'm stitching it, hold on, 3/2 on this 28 count linen in the colorway Hell Raised or something like that. It's a beautiful, beautiful minty green, turquoisey minty green, which fits beautifully with this 318, which is one of the most beautiful grays that I've ever seen, but I have nothing that matched it. And it was just these 4 rows at the bottom were missing for 1 watering can, and then I tested positive, and I could not go out, and it was too short of a time to order them and to have them shipped in and everything, and I was like, okay, but I was positive anyway, so I couldn't go to her birthday party, so yeah. Anyway, I came up with the idea of frogging the bottom 4 rows for the 3 watering cans that were already finished and replace it with some red. With the red that the little beetles, like the little, how do they call it? Marybugs? No, they are called Marybugs in Germany. Anyway, so I replaced it with a red that will also be in the bottom part of the biscornu. And I just think it looks rather cute. And this was actually the biggest part of the stitching. The underside is just, let me see if I can insert some pictures here. The underside is some greenery and some flowers. And I have to add some beads for the water, to really know that this is a watering can and not a teapot, as my boyfriend said it. But yeah, sorry Mel, I already started it. I haven't finished it. You still have your chance to to catch up. But yeah, I don't know when I will be able to finish this because I have some May plans and this one is actually not in it. But yeah, I think this is out of the competition because I have to finish it because I want to give it as a gift to my friend. Yeah. You see how chaotic this whole thing is right now, and I'm currently in that state of, you know, having kind of decision paralysis or whatever you want to call it, and I have so much going on and stuff, and I decided that I want to stop stitching. These are my plans for May. I want to stop stitching. Are you still there? Or have you turned off already? Hello? Yes, I want to stop stitching for one week. And I came up with this idea, or with this plan, after I watched Chrissy, Finally a Farm Girl, the other day. I think it was during her latest Flosstube video that she talked about how she wants to do the Stitch May thingy, stitching in May thing, where many people start all the things and many things. And she wanted to go the more monogamous route for this year's May. And I thought, well, that's a nice idea because I have huge projects lying around that I should actually be working on, or should, or want to, not just should, I really want to work on them. But there are other things, just like that one, who are screaming at me, saying, please stitch me, stitch me. And as not Chrissy, Kaylee Cross Stitch always says, SWYWWYW, stitch what you want when you want. And I like that concept and I'm totally on board with that. But I also want to see more progress on my full coverage Aftermath. I also want to catch up on the Modern Folk Embroidery sale, and I want to finish, let me just grab. Now I want to see some progress on this one, the Rain Russell by Leonid Aftermath, this full coverage thing. I want to see some progress on that, so I will be focusing 1 week only on this one. I will only be stitching on this full coverage for 1 whole week, and I hope that I will see a huge progress that makes me want to grab this a bit more often. That is 1 week, and 1 week is catching up with the Modern Folk Embroidery sale. This is everything that we know so far, and I love that Jacob provided alternative motifs for certain things, like for example for Caleb and Joshua, and what else was it? I don't remember. Oh, not the duo chrome, like the 2 colored ways for the flowers and stuff. So, and I try to I try to do the different parts and like the alternatives for this one, so that I have a bit more variety on this sampler. So I want to play catch up with this one, and I want and have to finish this one that I haven't shown you in ages. This one. I started this on my birthday in October last year, and I want to finish it before my mother's birthday, and I'm stitching this in remembrance of, or in memoriam of my mother, who died of cancer. She had ovarian cancer, and I want to finish this before her. Oh, there is my ice cream needle miner. I've been looking for this already. I want to finish this before her birthday, which is in the beginning of May. So I might be focusing on this one first. And yeah, so this is the third week, and whenever I like the third week, and when I am finished with that, I will try and catch up and finish other things that are close to finishing, and that I can, you know, kind of bring to a close in quite a short amount of time. And the fourth week, that is when I will stop stitching, because I have been watching Kristi's Corner Needlework, who has been showing wonderful weavings that she did, and I have my loom sitting here, and it's been looking at me for all those time, and I want to, you know, I want to sit down and do some weaving, but I never know when to take the time for it, because I would rather be stitching, because I want to show you something stitching wise, and I don't take the time for myself to do some other crafts. And also, the other day, Michelle, the Giddy Stitcher, uploaded a video on how to start crochet. And I have needles here, I have yarn, I have everything here. And so I will try my hand at doing some crochet, because I want to have one of these beautiful triangle scarves that so many of you Flosstubers show on your videos. And I will never start knitting, because this is just wizardry to me. I mean, two needles, that's too much to handle. I can handle one thing and one yarn, you know, I can handle one tool and one piece of yarn. I cannot handle 2 or 4 or more or whatever. So I want to have a go at crochet as well. So I will take 1 week to focus on these other hobbies. And yeah, and that's also because why I will probably not be posting an update in May, because it would be kind of boring, because I haven't been working on that much. You can follow me on Instagram if you like, and see my progress there, because I want to kind of be more diligent in uploading there my progress on these different whips, and also on the other crafts. And we will see how I will stick to those plans, because I am so good at sticking to plans. Evil laugh, insert here. Goodness me, what am I doing? Yeah, so that's gonna be May. That's gonna be May. I want to tell you about a challenge that I came across the other day, in which you can win a $50 gift certificate for the Colorado Cross Stitcher. I haven't watched any floss tubes by the Colorado Cross Stitcher before, but I came across her video from the 17th of April of this year, and she talked about a challenge, which is the hashtag #eachoneteachone. And for more details on how to enter, please also refer back to this video, where she talks about the rules and everything, and how you can enter and how you can win. So just don't quote me. I actually didn't plan on entering, because it's a gift certificate for physical products from her shop in the US, and I'm not in the US, so I thought it would be applicable for me, but that's beside the point. So if you want to win $50, a $50 gift certificate from her shop, please go over to this video and also have a look at it. But her idea was using the hashtag #eachoneteachone. If we as stitchers who already have fallen into the rabbit hole of yarn and fabric and needles, if we would take one of our friends, acquaintances, family members, whatever, and teach them how to cross stitch, and teach them or make them familiar with this wonderful hobby, because this is a hobby that you know, calms you down, that occupies your mind without being too stressful. It's kind of a meditation in motion. That's what I always call it, because I am not good at meditating sitting down and just closing my eyes, but I feel a meditative state when I am counting, when I am stitching, when I am in a flow, when I am doing yoga, when I'm doing Pilates, whatever. I have to be in kind of a motion, in a flow state, and that's when my mind really can relax. So anyway, so this is a really relaxing and wonderful hobby. It's not too expensive if you don't want to. It's, you know, easy to pick up, it's easy to learn, it's easy to carry around even, and yeah, it's just a wonderful hobby. And so she said, well, if you can each just find one person that you can teach cross stitching to, and maybe take a picture with them with their first projects, and then post it on social media, on Instagram, I suppose, with this hashtag eachoneteachone, you are eligible to be in the drawing for a gift certificate. But again, please go to her video and, you know, double check the rules, so don't quote me. Anyway, I was telling my friend, a friend of ours, about this hashtag because I gave him a starter pack a few months back when they were over for dinner, and he was just, you know, looking at all the cross stitching on the walls, and he was like, isn't that just like pixel art? I mean, how do you do that? And he was very polite and asking how it's done, and I was just like, yeah, he's just being polite. But then I realized that he is very much into Minecraft, and that he and his girlfriend are building huge areas in Minecraft, and that he is into pixel art, and that he is drawing Celtic knots on his checkered paper, you know, everything. And he asked me if I can provide him with some fabric and threads and hoop and everything. And mind you, it was a kind of a party evening. We were a bit, you know, funny. And so I packed it up and I forgot all about it. And then I remembered when we were talking on the phone the other day, and I told him about this hashtag eachoneteachone, and look at that. He took it out and he started stitching Yoshi and Yoshi's egg. And I was like, that's so cool. Where did you find the pattern for it? And that's where he found the pattern. So I don't know. I mean, I think his mind is just made of pixels, I suppose, because being able from a beaded, like these bead art, you know, do you know these things? Like these are little beads that you put on a kind of a rack or something, and then you go over it with an ironing, and a hot iron, and then the plastic melts together, and then you have something like an ornament you can hang up. Anyway, so that he can kind of translate this into a cross stitch pattern is just amazing. And I was just, you know, I was just celebrating him so hard. And I asked him if it's okay if I show it, and he said yes, of course, do it. Yeah, so I might try and have a picture with him together, so that I can actually really enter into this wonderful competition that the Colorado Cross Stitcher opened up. You have until the end of May, if I recall correctly. And yeah, I'm so happy about that. I am an influencer now. Okay, and let me just finish my video with a few shout outs. I have been watching a few people, of course, as you do. And just the other day, I guess it was this week somewhere, Megan, the Stitching Moon, the American who lives in Norway, has announced that she had opened up her Etsy shop. And if you are into full coverage landscape stitching, you should definitely have a look at her Etsy shop, because she has been taking wonderful pictures of the surroundings where she lives in Norway, and kind of photoshopped them a bit, made some cool photo kind of filters on top and stuff, and turned them into cross stitch patterns, like full coverage cross stitch pattern. So if you are interested in that, please head over to her and have a look at it. I very much enjoyed Karen, the Needlebugs video the other day about what she has hanging on her walls, because she was going through her home, showing us all the wonderful things that she stitched. And she also has the Dutch Beauty in a different colorway than is shown here on this pattern. And that actually also made me wanting to start this right away. But as I said, I need to, you know, calm down, not just start right away, but this one really takes a lot of planning beforehand. You know, like the right fabric, the floss, I want to stitch it with silks and stuff. So anyway, but that was a very, very nice and interesting video, I thought. And who else have I been watching? All of those wonderful, beautiful people who always bring a smile to my face whenever I see them on screen. I'm happy that Denise is back finally. It's good to see her again. And yeah, if I remember someone else, I put them down in the description box. Okay, for now, please don't forget to hug your squid and hug yourself and be kind to yourself. And I hope to see you soon in June. Yes, I will be concentrating on May. God, it's time to sign off now. I hope you have a wonderful month of May, and I will see you again in June. Bye, guys.